I got mine. Don't worry about his. Your life. You see the forms. Won't you take me to
all that pressure got you down.
In this countdown, we're celebrating the top 10 best disco hits of the 1970s. We'll always remember the tracks that lit up dance floors, defined an era, and still make us move today. From funky bass lines to soaring vocals, these songs didn't just make people dance. They changed music forever. So put on your dancing shoes, turn up the volume, and let's relive the golden age of disco. Gloria Gaynor, I Will Survive, 1978. Few songs capture resilience and empowerment like I Will Survive. Released in October 1978, it originally appeared as a B-side before DJs started spinning it, turning it into a global hit. Written by Freddie Perrin and Dino Fakaris, the song tells a story of overcoming heartbreak and emerging stronger. Its unforgettable intro, "At first I was afraid, I was petrified," instantly grabs attention.
And I spent so many nights just feeling sorry for myself.
Gloria Gaynor's commanding vocals, combined with a groovy yet uplifting disco beat, made it an anthem. Decades later, I Will Survive remains a dance floor staple and an enduring message of strength, proving its place as one of the greatest disco hits ever.
Everyone, it's up to you. Surely.
Chic, Le Freak, 1978. The moment you hear, "Ah, freak out," you know it's time to move. Released in September 1978, Le Freak became Chic's biggest hit and a defining track of the disco era. Written by Nile Rodgers and Bernard Edwards, the song came from an unforgettable night when they were denied entry into the legendary Studio 54 nightclub. Originally, the lyrics were a lot more explicit, but they switched it to "freak out," and the rest is history. The song's funky bass line, sharp guitar riffs, and smooth groove turned it into a worldwide sensation.
All that pressure got you down.
With over 7 million copies sold, Le Freak became Atlantic Records' best-selling single and remains one of the most recognizable and irresistible disco anthems of all time. Bee Gees, Stayin' Alive, 1977. No song defines disco quite like Stayin' Alive. Released in December 1977 as part of the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack, it became an instant classic. Written by Barry, Robin, and Maurice Gibb, this song is about survival, both on the dance floor and in life. The track's hypnotic bass line, created using a loop, was groundbreaking for its time. Paired with Bee Gees' iconic falsetto harmonies, Stayin' Alive became the ultimate disco anthem. It's impossible to hear it without picturing John Travolta's iconic strut through the streets of Brooklyn. Beyond the disco craze, the song remains a cultural staple, even being used in CPR training due to its perfect 103 BPM tempo. Over 4 decades later, Stayin' Alive is still unstoppable. Bee Gees, Night Fever, 1978. Few songs capture the essence of the disco era like Night Fever. Released in February 1978, this track was written by Barry, Robin, and Maurice Gibb and became one of the biggest hits from the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack. The Bee Gees were initially asked to write a different song for the film, but they insisted on using Night Fever instead. Its smooth groove, hypnotic melody, and signature falsetto harmonies created pure dance floor magic. The song's infectious rhythm made it a favorite in clubs worldwide, solidifying the Bee Gees as disco royalty. With Night Fever, they didn't just define the sound of the late 70s, they made history. Even today, it's impossible to hear this song and not feel the urge to move.
Won't you take me to
Lips Inc., Funky Town, 1979. Released in December 1979, Funky Town became one of the last great disco anthems before the genre started to decline in the early 80s. Written by Steven Greenberg, the song was inspired by his desire to leave Minneapolis for a more vibrant city, which is why the lyrics capture the feeling of needing a fresh start. What makes Funky Town so iconic is its futuristic sound. The pulsing synths, funky bass line, and robotic vocal effects made it stand out from traditional disco hits. It reached #1 in 28 countries and became a worldwide sensation.
Won't you take me to Funky Town?
Even decades later, the song remains a party favorite, proving that no matter where you are, Funky Town will always bring the energy and keep people dancing. The Tramps, Disco Inferno, 1976. With its unforgettable "Burn, Baby, Burn" chant, Disco Inferno became an anthem of the disco era. Released in December 1976, this high-energy track by the Tramps was inspired by the film The Towering Inferno. Written by Leroy Green and Ron Kersey, the song's fiery theme perfectly matched its driving bass line and explosive horns. Though it was already popular in clubs, it became legendary after being featured on the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack in 1977. The extended dance mix, lasting over 10 minutes, was a DJ favorite, keeping dance floors packed all night. Casey and the Sunshine Band, Get Down Tonight, 1975. Few songs can instantly transport you to a packed 70s dance floor like Get Down Tonight. Released in April 1975, this track by Casey and the Sunshine Band became a massive hit and helped shape the disco sound. Written by Harry Wayne Casey, and Richard Finch, the song was all about having a good time, with its infectious energy and irresistible beat. The signature sped-up guitar riff was a unique studio experiment that added a distinctive funky edge. Combined with its energy, rhythm, and catchy lyrics, Get Down Tonight became a club essential. As one of the earliest disco hits, it laid the groundwork for the genre's explosion, ensuring Casey and the Sunshine Band's place in music history. Patrick Hernandez, Born to Be Alive, 1978. From the moment the first beat drops, Born to Be Alive makes you want to dance. Released in November 1978 in France and gaining international fame in 1979, the track was written and performed by Patrick Hernandez. Surprisingly, the song was originally a slow ballad before being transformed into the high-energy disco anthem we know today. With its thumping bass line, driving beat, and celebratory lyrics, Born to Be Alive became a massive success, topping charts worldwide. Its undeniable groove makes it impossible to stay still when it plays. Decades later, this song remains one of the most recognizable disco tracks, proving that when it comes to the dance floor, some of us really are born to be alive. Donna Summer, I Feel Love, 1977. This song changed music forever. Released in July 1977, I Feel Love by Donna Summer was light years ahead of its time. Produced by Giorgio Moroder, the track introduced a revolutionary electronic sound, making it one of the first true electronic dance songs. Instead of traditional instruments, Moroder used synthesizers, creating a hypnotic, futuristic beat that set the stage for modern EDM. Donna Summer's dreamy, seductive vocals added a mesmerizing quality, making the song an instant hit. The pulsating rhythm and electronic bass line made it a favorite in clubs worldwide. Not just a disco classic, I Feel Love influenced generations of artists and producers, proving that a single song could change the future of dance music forever.
Stay on the scene, I like a sex machine.
James Brown, Get Up, I Feel Like Being a Sex Machine, 1970. No list of iconic 70s dance hits is complete without the godfather of soul himself, James Brown. Released in July 1970, Get Up, I Feel Like Being a Sex Machine was more than just a song. It was a revolution in funk music.
I got mine, don't worry about his.
Co-written by Brown and his bandleader Bobby Bird, this track introduced a fresh, rhythmic groove that would influence generations of musicians. The song was created through pure improvisation, a signature of Brown's genius. Backed by the JBs, his newly formed band, the track showcased tight drumming, sharp guitar riffs, and a steady, driving bass line that made it impossible not to move. Unlike traditional soul music, Get Up focused on the groove rather than melody, which became a defining characteristic of 70s funk. Its call and response style, where Brown interacts with his band, adds electrifying energy, making it feel like a live jam session. This track paved the way for the funk explosion of the 70s and heavily influenced disco and hip-hop. Decades later, it remains one of the most legendary dance tracks, proving that James Brown's groove is truly timeless. It's not just music, it's an experience that still makes people move today. And that's our list of the top 10 best disco hits of the 1970s. These tracks may be decades old, but their energy and influence remain strong. Which one is your favorite? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more music countdowns.